So I am going to present to you the impact of group guidance counseling, which is a action research project that I did through a high school. The hypothesis for it was students who receive guidance through group counseling will increase their GPAs, decrease their disciplinary referrals, and increase their attendance. And for this action research project, which I might say ARP, just to shorten it, just so you know, there were 3 guiding questions. And the first one was, will the implementation of small group counseling improve students' overall GPA? The second one was based off of disciplinary referrals. Do students have less referrals when incorporating group sessions? And the last one was based off of attendance. Do students have a better attendance record when incorporating small group sessions? So for this study, just to give you some facts and information about it, data collection was through existing data through the school database portal. And what was collected was GPA and the disciplinary referrals as well as attendance. There were 16 females and they were all in the 9th grade. And there were 2 groups for this study. There was Group A and Group B, and they were conducted by the existing school counselor, and she strategically chose these students based off of having a D or lower and also having a high rate of disciplinary referrals. She also chose to have just girls because she felt that they would connect better and be a little bit more open. Both groups received the group guidance sessions, and this study utilized the T-test for student GPAs as well as quasi-experimental research. So just to give you a little background on the school that was being studied, or the students in the school. So it was conducted at a high school in Southern California. The high school is located in a working class city in Los Angeles, and the total of students is 1,415 at the high school. And just to give you a little bit, so the major subgroups were 85.5% Hispanic or Latino, 5.9% white, non-Hispanic, 2.4% Asian, 3.3% African American, and 23.8% were English language learners. So for this study, you have the student GPA, the disciplinary referrals, and the attendance, and these were the instruments that were used for each of them. So for the student GPA, it was collected before and after the group sessions, which the group sessions, sorry, I didn't say this earlier, but they were 5 weeks long, and the T-test was utilized for the GPA to see if it was effective or not. If it was less than 0.0 or 0.5, it was due to treatment, and if it was more than 0.5, it was just by chance. For the disciplinary referrals, these were collected at the end of each week for the 5 weeks total, and it was displayed as a bar graph, which I will show you in the next slides. And for the attendance, it was also collected at the end of the 5 weeks, and the data was calculated through percentage and it was displayed. So for disciplinary referrals, you can see Group A is going to be the lighter color and Group B is the darker color. As it goes down through the weeks, they are making an improvement, and by the end, referrals given to Group A was down by 69.3%, and Group B decreased by 44%. And then for GPA, again, as I had stated, the T-test was used for this, and an independent samples T-test was performed. The independent T-test was associated with a statistically significant effect with the T number and the P number, and you wanted the P number to be, again, 0.5, so, or 0.05, and so this showed there was significance, and it wasn't just by chance, it was by treatment. And this just shows you that through standard deviation, that the results show that the average GPA scores for both groups increased. As shown in this table, the scores for both groups increased with a low standard deviation for both of them. So you can see from the beginning to the end of the study. And then this is for attendance for Group A. Students missed over half of their classes, around 74.5%. At the end of the 5 weeks, they only were missing about 25.5%. So it did make a difference there as well. And then Group B, they were missing about 70.3%, and at the end of the 5 weeks, it's only 29.7%. So for that conclusion, for attendance, both groups were attending more classes by the end of the 5 weeks with an overall of 62% increase. Disciplinary referrals, both Group A decreased, but both groups decreased, and Group A decreased by 69.3%, and Group B decreased by 44%. And then for the GPA, by the end, students' GPA overall increased. So again, these were the 3 guiding questions for this action research, and based off of what was shown, yes, they did improve in all 3 areas of GPA, disciplinary referrals, and attendance. And this is just from ASCA, which is the Counselor Association. Group counseling is an efficient and effective and most positive way of providing direct services to students with academic, career, and social-emotional developmental issues and situational concerns. And just to kind of close it, according to the California Department of Education, the ratio of students per counselor in the state averages 945 to 1, compared to the national average of 477 to 1, ranking California last in the nation. Therefore, providing small groups would reduce the stress of large caseloads, and it is known to be more effective than the individual counseling approach for both students and counselors. And just my references, and if you guys have any questions or concerns, comments about it.
Yeah, more just a comment. I think this is crazy how there's over 900 students for just one counselor. That just seems super effective. So like the small group counseling just seems way better.
Yeah.
Of an approach. So
I agree.
Yeah, and the results obviously, or the group counseling is obviously showing positive results. So it's a shame that there's so many students who aren't benefiting from that because it does work.
Okay. Thank you guys.